Hi guys, today I'll be taking you on 7 steps that will help you to make or write a fantastic screenplay. Alright, basically screenplays are the foundation to which every movie is built upon. So if you have a faulty screenplay, you might likely have a faulty film. The problem is, will you be able to follow the step-by-step I'm going to share with you today? It's actually 7, and I promise you that if you take that 7 steps, you are definitely going to have a fantastic screenplay. Now, knowing how to write a screenplay is one thing. Understanding the principles that guide screenplay is another thing. So today I'm just going to take you through the processes of writing a screenplay. Here is where you get to all the juicy stuff when it comes to filmmaking, creativity, and all whatnot. And my name is Uchabo, and then of course I want to ask you, if you have not done that already, hit the subscription button, subscribe, and turn on the notification button, because what I do here is to teach you film, creativity, and how you can monetize your talent. 7 steps that you can take that will make you write a fantastic screenplay. What are they? The first thing that you have to create if you want to make a fantastic script is, of course, you have to develop your logline. So logline is more like a sentence that establishes the protagonist's goal and the antagonist's conflict. Now it's trying to let you know this is what the main actor, that's what we call the protagonist, is seeking for, and this is what the antagonist, the opposing force, is trying to bring up like an obstacle to stop him. So when you develop a beautiful logline, first and foremost, it will help a potential producer to look at and have interest. So it's like a summary of what your protagonist wants and what your antagonist and how your antagonist intend to stop him or her. So all of that is what you do with your 1-sentence logline. The second thing that you need to do when you want to write your screenplay is to develop your treatment. We call it the script treatment. Now in script treatment, the screenwriter has to first and foremost, now extend what he has done with logline by developing the synopsis of the film, the characters list, and of course including the logline and every other information that will allow the producer decide whether he wants to pin his money or not. Somebody should be able to read your treatment and develop an empathy for your character and be ready to go on a journey with that character. So the treatment of a screenplay is more like 2 to 5 pages that will entail both the synopsis of the story, the logline, the cast list, like the characters that are going to be there, a bit of them, and why we should follow you on this journey. So it's supposed to be more evolving. It's not supposed to give away the story, but it's supposed to at least invite people to be able to want to work with you. So it will give you a clear idea of what your story is going to look like. It's going to give you a little bit of what your structure is going to look like. It's going to also explain the style that you intend to adopt when it comes to the film. The third element I would like you to consider is that before you start, just hit the ball and start writing that script. Make sure you develop your characters. Develop characters that can contrast the central question. Now, when you have a central theme, like I said before, you need to have your protagonist who is the leading man or leading woman who needs something. It's like you have an objective, there's a goal that the character wants to achieve, and then it has an antagonist that wants to stop it. And which other characters that will evolve around the story, that will give your story flesh, all right? Those are the things that you develop your characters for. You need to be able to be character specific. What kind of character is it? Is it a tall person? Is it handsome? Is it ugly? Is it fat? Is it slim? Is it what and what? Who is the character? What kind of food does he want or like? What is his religiosity? What is his social life like? What is economical life? When you're able to identify these characters, it will help you, because when you eventually begin to write and you begin to give dialogue, you will know the social status, the economic status, and all whatnot about that particular character, and because you have been able to develop it. Because film really is about fictional works. Sometimes they are non-fiction, but most of the films we watch are fictional films. So, which means you must be able to now create a human being, giving it human attributes. So these characters are like human beings or animals or whatever that will play on your film, but they have human attributes. They are either macho, slim, tall, short, whatever. Just make sure you describe each of your characters and make sure that they have unique personalities that can contrast the central question. If you're not able to have contrasting characters, they may end up speaking the same way, walking the same way, talking the same way, moving the same way, and that's not film. It's good screenplay should have conflicting characters, those who are the good, the bad, the ugly, all mixed up, because that's what we have that's how generally what we have in real life. And film, of course, is more like magnifying the real life situation. The next one is to plot or outline your scripts. Okay, sometimes I don't use this, but I think it's important for maybe some people who are still trying to start up writing careers, or those who are still learning how to write and all of that. You need to plot and outline your script, which means what you want to see in scene 1. You write it. Okay, in scene 1, Mr. A enters the bedroom. Scene 2, Mr. A is driving off from his house. Scene 3, Mr. A goes into a meeting where there's a bashing and Mr. A was killed. Scene 4, when police DPO's office, where they are trying to now solve the murder case. All of that, you outline it with a single sentences to the very last scene. What that will help you do is that you don't get to a point where you get stuck and be like, okay, what do I do next? What do I write next? No, because you already have a full view, the outline of your script. You already have it from scene 1 to the very last scene. That's what we call the outline. So when you have that outline, it enables you, it helps you, all right? It helps you to be able to know the direction of your script. It helps you to know after this thing what comes next. So you don't get to stop. You don't get to be overcritical about yourself, because you already outlined what you want to do and how you want to do. So it's important. It's very, very key. It's one of the most critical steps when it comes to writing a fantastic screenplay. Make sure that you plot and outline your story before, that's scene by scene, break it scene by scene before you ever even start writing. Now, there are different softwares online that can help you do that. You can check some of them out. You can just Google, softwares to for script outline. You have a lot of them. Some of them are free, some are you're going to pay for it. But whichever be the case, it's important that you outline it. If you don't want to do by software, you can get a note, pen and paper the old way. You write it down, or you can even type it. Scene by scene, breakdown. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, and then it's easy for you to flow when you start writing. So, okay, now that you're done with outline, the next thing will be to do what? To start writing. That's your first draft. Okay. Now, there's something I want to let you know. When you are writing your first draft, don't be too critical about yourself. Don't start thinking about, oh, this dialogue it doesn't work so well. Because at the end of the day, if you get stuck, you may have writer's block. You may not want to continue. All right. So it's important that when you start writing your first draft, just flow. However it comes to your mind, based on your outline, based on the log line you have developed, and based on all other factors I've mentioned before, just flow, just keep going until you get to the end. Don't stop and start going back. There's time for that. So when you finish your first draft, that will now give you the confidence to be like, okay, I have a script, but it is not yet a fantastic script. That's the honest truth. First draft cannot make a fantastic script. That it cannot. The problem with some of us in Nollywood is that once we do our first draft, we're on location already. There's no time for other stuff. But first draft is not the end of the journey of writing a fantastic screenplay. So what is next? The next one is take a step back and rest. All right. So when you're done with your first draft, somehow I try to advise people, don't try to do your second draft immediately. Give that script some timeline. Take a little bit of break. Walk away from the script for some time, a day, 2, 3, 1 week, depending on the timeline you have to deliver that script. By the time you give it that a little bit of time and you come back to that script, you have a little bit of freshness, fresh idea, fresh thoughts, so that you can inject into the dialogue, inject into the character description, inject into a lot of things, all right? And some things that you might tweak here and there. It gives you a different view. So once you are done with first draft, the next step I will tell you is to take a step backward, rest for a moment, give it a break, give it a break small, and before you know it, you are there. You can come back for the next step. All right, the final one when it comes to 7 steps that will help you to write a fantastic script is rewrite. All right, from second draft, that's when you have done your first draft. I mentioned it before. You've taken a break. You've come back to your script. The next thing is to do a second draft. Now, in second draft is where you now begin to strengthen your dialogue, you begin to strengthen the conflict, heighten the stakes, and then, of course, make sure that you have enough contrasting characters, trying to go ahead each other. Because everything about screenwriting is basically the protagonist trying to achieve something, the antagonist trying to stop him. That's majorly what it's all about. But then, people know that the good guy is going to finally triumph, but they don't know how many obstacles he's going to go through for him to now triumph. So those obstacles are what you need to heighten now in your second draft. It might even lead to third draft, fourth draft, fifth draft, depending on how well or good you are, until you get to the point where the people that you're writing for, or that you by yourself, will say, okay, I'm satisfied with this, and this is the end of it, and then we'll call that one the final draft. So that is all about it. So if you're able to maintain these steps I've mentioned, you're certainly going to have a good screenplay. Okay, so that's about it on the 7 steps that you can take that will help you to reach and write a fantastic screenplay. I hope you like this. Please, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment on the comment section so that I get to know that you watched it to the end and you loved what I have said. Please let me know if there's any other element of filmmaking that you want me to talk about. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, because I drop new videos every other week. I'm sure that you're going to stay safe and keep creating beautiful content.